good afternoon, Trinidad and Tobago. Welcome in. It's Nag, your host, Naka, for today. And you know what hour it is. We're heading straight into the news. The Laventille Desperado Steel Orchestra Board has formally distanced itself from public statements made by board member Senator David Naked, saying his comments, particularly attacks on Pan Trimbago President Beverly Ramsey Moore, were unauthorized and inconsistent with the band's ethos. Chairman Orand Lumumba said the public had wrongly associated Naked's remarks with the organization, prompting the board to unanimously request his resignation. Ramsey Moore said she was not formally notified of the decision, but welcomed clarification that Naked's views do not represent Desperados. She rejected allegations of corruption, citing clean audits, a $6 million surplus, and successful panorama events funded from Pan Trimbago's own reserves. Naked denied acting on behalf of the band, insisting his comments were personal and accusing the board of political bias. He questioned the board's authority to discipline him, raised concerns about the use of band funds, and called for the band's resignation. This dispute has escalated to legal action, with the Naked's attorneys objecting to a board meeting called on short notice and warning of court proceedings if decisions are taken against him in his absence. In further news, after a successful debut last year, Carnival will proceed without the Ultimate Soca Champion competition, which organizers say has been shelved due to insufficient funding and a lack of official support. Founder and producer Jerome Rome Priscilla said efforts to secure assistance from the Ministry of Culture and Community Development and the National Carnival Commission were unsuccessful, with no response received up to yesterday. With fewer than 3 weeks remaining before Carnival, he said there is no longer enough time to stage the event, even if funding were approved at this stage. The absence of the USC was confirmed when it did not appear on the NCC's 2026 Carnival calendar, released on December 16th. Reports indicated that Culture and Community Development Minister Michelle Benjamin had acknowledged receiving feedback from the organizing committee and said discussions were ongoing. She also noted that the 2025 edition of the competition was facilitated through a tendering process and that a contract had been issued. According to Benjamin, committee members were expected to meet with her more than a week ago to determine whether the state support would be provided for Carnival 2026. However, Priscilla said yesterday that the competition will not be held this year. He said, "We will not have the competition this year and we are hoping to bring it back next year once we receive support from the ministry and the NCC," he said, adding that demand from artists had remained strong. "Everywhere I go, artists keep asking if the competition is on." Introduced at Carnival 2025, USC replaced the traditional power and groovy categories with a single championship title. Grenadian soca artist Black Dan won the inaugural competition, taking home the $1 million top prize, with Sucre claimed the youth title. Priscilla described the cancellation as a setback for both organizers and performers, noting that USC was intended as a development platform for emerging talent. He said the competition had already produced measurable success, pointing to Sucre's rise as a frontline singer with Evolution Band. Paris Coutain's collaboration with Marshall Montano, following his youth category performance, and Anika Berry's increased visibility this Carnival season. Artists were informed informally to avoid unnecessary controversy. Priscilla said though reactions were largely of disappointment, many questioned why a competition they viewed as vital to artistic development failed to secure funding. Priscilla also noted that the platforms such as International Soca Monarch and Synergy Soca Star historically served as launch pads for young artists, many of whom later achieved international success. More with news. During debate on the law reform Bill 2026, several independent senators criticized the government for what they described as disparaging remarks and a lack of consultation. Senator Michael de la Bastide said the government should have engaged independent senators before bringing the bill to the Senate, warning that insults and assumptions of political bias were counterproductive, especially as the government needs independent votes to secure passage. Senator Anthony Vieira echoed the criticism, suggesting that recent statements implied a Senate scrutiny, which was being treated as merely symbolic rather than meaningful. Senator Alicia Pauline Etienne questioned the government's claims of visionary leadership, urged open-minded debate, and stressed that independent senators were not trying to block legislation. With debate set to continue and a vote expected soon, independent senators called on the government to meaningfully consider proposed amendments. In more stories, while two previous attempts in 2024 and 2025 to kill Alistair George failed, gunmen returned yesterday among a cornered the father of two in Belmont and opened fire on him, killing him instantly. A 28-year-old unemployed man identified as George was shot and killed around 9 a.m. while cleaning an area along Serrano Road, Belmont, after two gunmen emerged from a car and opened fire. Unable to escape, he died at the scene and his car was riddled with bullets. The shooting terrorized residents who took cover in their homes. George, a father of an 18-month-old child and expecting another, was described by relatives as a lifelong resident of the area who was not known to be gang-affiliated. He had been cleaning the junction at a resident's request ahead of a birthday celebration. Relatives and neighbors expressed deep grief and fear, with one woman saying the killing prompted her decision to move away due to ongoing gun violence. Family members described George as a devoted uncle who loved football and was deeply cherished by his family. Relatives and residents described George as a kind, respectful, and helpful young man who was well liked in the community. Several neighbors expressed grief and frustration, criticizing police response and claiming that despite the area being a known crime hotspot, there was little visible patrol presence. Residents blamed authorities for failing to curb crime and accused the government of neglecting law-abiding citizens. The shooting also disrupted the community, forcing early closure of St. Francois Girls College, with parents asked to collect their children. In separate incidents, two women were killed in separate incidents in Tacarigua and Arouca, pushing the murder toll to 26 for the year. In Arouca, 31-year-old pregnant Venezuelan national Anais Lopez was shot multiple times at Windy Hill while accompanying her boyfriend to pick up coconuts. The gunmen were reportedly targeting her boyfriend, who escaped. Lopez, 7 months pregnant, was pronounced dead on arrival at hospital, and doctors were unable to save her unborn child. Two men were arrested and are assisting police. In Tacarigua, the mutilated body of an unidentified woman was discovered under a bridge near the Eddie Hart Recreation Ground. Initially believed to be male, the victim was later identified as a female with punctured wounds to the chest. The body was removed to the Forensic Science Center for autopsy. And regionally, Haitian authorities say security forces are making progress in reclaiming Port-au-Prince from criminal gang following a major operation targeting the stronghold of gang leader Jimmy Chorize, known as Barbecue. head of the Viv Asanam group. At least 6 gang members were killed, others injured, and a large group of weapons, ammunition, drones, police-style uniforms, protective gear, and cash were seized. Justice and Public Minister said the law enforcement supported by private security contractors has been steadily reclaiming key areas of the capital, which parts of administrative center downgraded from high-risk red zones to orange zones. Operations are continuing in known gang strongholds. Gangs have dominated much of the capital since the 2021 assassination of the president, with the UN reporting widespread killings, sexual violence, and displacement. Meanwhile, the Presidential Transitional Council is continuing national dialogue efforts ahead of the scheduled end of the government's mandate in February 2026. And that's all for your news today. Let's go for a break, and when we come back, we have Bridging the Gap.
You're viewing Real TV. Thanks for choosing us.
Every word, every line, every paragraph depicts a real moment in someone's life. A father, a sister, a mother, a brother. We at Newsday are dedicated to you, the people, and through independent, unwavering journalism, strive to always bring your stories to life. Because your stories are more than just words. Newsday, independent and credible.
Macon Construction Company Limited. Save big whilst building stronger. We build with our Macon innovative building systems, which provides high wind speed, earthquake, sea blast and fire resistance, is thermally and acoustically insulated, provides improved construction timelines and cost savings. We provide construction services from design to finish and everything in between. Macon Construction Company Limited. Building green today with tomorrow's technology. Contact or visit us today.
Hi, I'm Zalisa Budu Singh Rupani, and I'm inviting you to join me for Conversations with Zalisa right here on Real TV. It's not just another talk show, it's a space for real stories, real insight, and real impact. We cover it all: health, law, parenting, relationships, drug and substance abuse, mental health, social issues, and so much more, with expert guests who help bring clarity to life's most important questions. So whether you're looking to be informed, empowered, or simply inspired, this show is for you. Weekdays at 10 a.m. with repeats on Real TV. You're viewing Real TV, ultimate in programming. Thanks for choosing us.
Welcome back. It is a wonderful Friday. The week is almost over. We're coming close to the week. Tomorrow is Friday. So the week's passing so fast. The hours are running so fast. The years are passing so fast that when we look back, we realize that how much years passed and we think it was just the other day. Right? So today's a wonderful day, and I want to touch on our topic today is a kind of heavy topic. And I want you all to communicate with me. It could be negative, it could be positive. Because at the end of the day, I always say, my opinion is my opinion and your opinion is your opinion. And we can always learn to agree to disagree. Right? So I am good with interaction, negative or positive. I welcome it all. That is how we end. That's how we always get healthy conversations, because then we understand how each other think. Right? So it's okay if you want to, bash my little negativity. There's nothing, you can talk and we'll interact, because I want to hear from you. I want to hear how you think and your opinions. So, we have this new segment, which is the real opinion. And the real opinion, we are going on the ground every day and asking the people of the public different questions, because we cannot just sit down here and speak and say what we feel and not hear the voices of the people on the ground. Because the voices of the people on the ground is very important and vital to us, because that's how we will know how you guys think and how you feel. So we are going into the segment now called The Real Opinion, and we ask them a few questions concerning how are they affected by the new gas prices that was implemented in Trinidad and Tobago. Take a look.
What is your opinion on the gas prices hiking by 70% natural gas? Alright, first of all, we yes. That's it. Alright. With first station by the name of Real TV, asking one question today. How do you feel about the recent hike in gas prices by 70% natural gas?
No response to give, sure. What I could say for sure is that no price increase is welcome. Even though there may be valid reasons for it, I am saying that usually it is met with a bit of apprehension or maybe vexation. Yeah, but I understand, things are on the increase locally and globally too. I understand that. So with that being said, I'm kind of in between.
In between?
That's nice of you.
Understood. Thanks for your time.
Yeah, man. Yeah, sure. No problem.
Alright. Yeah. Good. Alright, I work for a station by the name of Real TV. Here to ask a question. How do you feel about the recent hike in natural gas prices by 70%?
Gas.
Yeah.
Gas.
Well, they were speaking about increasing the price of natural gas just today, actually.
I don't know.
Nothing?
I don't know. Gas is going to what kind of gas? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, I can't give you my opinion of that. If I don't know,
Understood.
alright.
Thanks for your time.
Yeah.
So that was a little bit of some people out on the streets there in the San Juan area. But as we move forward, and before we hit the real topic, there's a video I want to show of yesterday. There was a press conference while our show was going on, while we were here in studio, and a press conference was held with the opposition leader making a remark on what transpired, well, what was said. And I just wanted to highlight that video because it's a video that we probably would have been vital and we missed that one. So before we head into the heated topic, I want to play this video.
I'd like to address just a few matters, and I would like to start by dealing with the issue of the Prime Minister's comments as it relates to the independent senators and the President. And I want to make reference in particular to an article this morning in the Express. Headline, Bootlickers and Brown Nosers. Kamala doubles down in criticizing independence on the Zoso bill. Now, the fact is that we know that with technology, many persons all over the world could read this article long before now. And when you see this headline, I mean, you would ask yourself, who could a prime minister possibly be referring to? The president of our country and independent senators. Absolutely amazing. Reckless. And the prime minister went on to say that when a question was asked, arguing that they were not truly independent, but appointed by a president who was a low-level PNM functionary. The Prime Minister went on to say these shameless president senators had no courage to contest any election to sit in that parliament. They are not there because of the will of the people. The entire country knows that these people were appointed because they are bootlickers and brown nosers. I want to ask you to just bear with me because it's important that I read specifically what the Prime Minister said as well. Their hypocritically pious behavior doesn't fool anyone. Not a single one of them has the courage to face the electorate. They just use the position to engage in self-promotion, self-congratulation as a stepping stone for personal business opportunities outside of the parliament. The Prime Minister goes on to say, it is obscene that these 9 people whose only special ability is bootlicking and self-promotion on the local cocktail and conference circuit and who no one voted for can decide on legislation brought to the parliament by a government who was voted for by the electorate. Now, simple, why is this important? The Prime Minister is a lawyer, the Prime Minister is a senior counsel. And you would ask yourself, why would a Prime Minister go down this road to be attacking the President and to be attacking independent senators? And we all understand that this is not an isolated incident. This government is government and governance by bullying. And the Honorable Prime Minister continues on each and every occasion that she finds herself in any kind of difficulty to threaten and bully people. Ask yourself, when were these statements made? These statements were originally made just before the bill, the Zoso bill, was going before the Senate. So it is literally to threaten the senators and pressure them into voting. If you, as a Prime Minister, there are many different ways that you can persuade, influence the independent senators. And it certainly ought not to be by bullying. Because if you have a policy and you have a piece of legislation that is good for the country, then you ought not to threaten people and call them all kinds of names with the hope that they will be afraid of you and vote for the bill, because that is what the intention is. And on each and every occasion, we continue to see what I call governance by bullying. And if you recall, similar to the piece of legislation my colleague just spoke about, the Honorable Dominic Romaine, in relation to the traffic fines, if you behave yourself, I will do this and give you a couple days. If you don't behave yourself, you may not get a visa. And to say to her own members of parliament about coughing down. And to say to members of the opposition about narco trafficking. Now you must ask yourself, why is this government continuously threatening and bullying persons? And let us go to what is happening today as it relates to the energy conference. But before I do that,
So that was just a contribution that was made on the topic that we were talking about, and we didn't get to play that because the conference was going on at that point in time, right? So before we go on the break, I want to talk about, and I want to go in depth, and what I want to do today, I want to give the information that is online. I want to give the public's opinion that I saw online as well. And I want to give my opinion as well. And you all could send in your opinions on the YouTube page, you all are free to do that. Because we can communicate, because I want to hear how you feel with respect, with some respect and diplomacy. I want to hear how your perspective on this topic. And today I want to talk about zones of special operations, which they call ZOSO. And I want to give different perspectives. I want to talk about how it affects the businesses as well. And what the law association says regarding this bill, which they were not briefed or they didn't discuss it with the law association. So these are the different things that I want to talk about, because we're touching with ZOSO, we're touching on the different avenues, not on Naka Avenue alone. I've given you everybody opinion in this, and as well as yours, because you are free to send your messages. You are free to call 744-7325. Because this is our importance for you and I, and how it affects us. Because trust and believe, in some way or the other, it is going to affect us. And I will touch on something, but I want to give you all the information first, but we're going for the break just now. I want to give you all the vital information on the law reform of zone of special operations. Because I don't want people to be misinformed, because a lot of people talking about different things about ZOSO, and they are not really educated on what the law reform supposed to be, or what they want it to be, or what they're trying to make it to be, to affect people in Trinidad and Tobago, because we are going to be highly affected. Those who are law-abiding citizens are going to be affected drastically. Down to your children who want to go to school, they are going to be affected drastically. Businesses going to be affected drastically. So we're going for a break, and when we come back, I will just give you a short definition, and then I'm going to tell you what the Law Association said. Mr. Ulrich, if I have his name correctly, I will get his name just now. He made a statement. So I've given you what the law, the people of the law of the land say first. And then I have some videos to play as well. Because it has some people who giving you the breakdown too. So let's go for a break, and when we come back, we're talking about ZOSO. Stay tuned.
You're viewing Real TV, ultimate in programming, Thanks for choosing us.
Macon Construction Company Limited. Save big whilst building stronger. We build with our Macon innovative building systems, which provides high wind speed, earthquake, sea blast and fire resistance. Is thermally and acoustically insulated. Provides improved construction timelines and cost savings. We provide construction services from design to finish and everything in between. Macon Construction Company Limited. Building green today with tomorrow's technology. Contact or visit us today.
I'm Smith. Have you ever wondered what a man is thinking? Have you ever wondered why a man does what he does? Well, join us on our new show called A Man's Perspective, right here on Real TV on Mondays 6 p.m. to 7:30 p.m., where we discuss just that. The points, the clues to get into a man's mind, right here on Real TV, bringing reality to you.
Ready to take your sales career to the next level? If you have a passion for connecting with clients, building meaningful relationships, and delivering results, we want you on our team. Join a dynamic, motivated environment where your experience matters, your ideas are valued, and your drive defines your success. Step into a role with real opportunity. Join the sales team at Real TV, where your future begins.
Call us today at 292-6470 or WhatsApp us at 384-7142. You can also send an email to realtv.corporate@gmail.com.
You're viewing Real TV. Thanks for choosing us.
So welcome back. So we're talking about ZOSO, which is Zones of Special Operations. Special Security and Community Development Measures, the Bill of 2026. So they have this definition I'm giving here because I want to be fair. I don't want nobody to say I take this definition from somebody. This came from the Parliament of Trinidad and Tobago. So this small definition, which they call it an explanatory note, they said the purpose of this bill is to introduce legislation to provide for special measures for upholding and preserving the rule of law, public order, citizen security, and public safety within certain geographically defined areas of Trinidad and Tobago. The bill seeks to curb the nation's crime through security force occupation of vulnerable communities. It also aims to preserve human rights during the period of occupation. The bill provides for a defined area to be declared by the Prime Minister a zone of special operation in two specified circumstances, including a threat to the rule of law and public order. An order revoking a zone may be made at any time by the Prime Minister. So I'm saying this, an order revoking a zone. This is a part that this is a key part that I want to hold on tight in all the pocket. An order revoking a zone may be made at any time by the Prime Minister. During an operation, a person may not be detained or arrested in a zone unless proper grounds. So, let me tell you something. So, if they bring the ZOSO and they have ZOSO, just remember they stated that during an operation, a person may not be detained or arrested in a zone unless proper grounds can be determined by the person in charge. Because we have some people who abuse power. And this is all about abuse of power. So if anybody come knocking at your door, because remember these people can come by your house without a warrant, without any explanation, kick down your door, because remember we have no civil rights now. All our rights and civil rights are taken. But I want to reach there yet. So I'm going down the line, you know. Because I want to let you hear these key points. Because when certain authorities, people who like to abuse power, come and they do what they have to do, a lot of people will forget the key points, which is stated here. This document comes from the parliament. The normal criminal law procedure shall be applicable. Hence, a person who is arrested would, upon arrest, be informed of the reason. I'm saying it again. The person will be informed of the reason. The bill contains 28 clauses and requires a special majority vote. So, this is a whole long document. This document might be about 10 million pages. Right? So, you all heard for yourself. This is just the definition of what is going to take place. So, you all have to make sure and hear these vital parts. And this is what coming from the Law Association now. And this is courtesy the Newsday. I got this from the Newsday. The Law Association has expressed conditional support for the law reform, ZOSO, while warning the legislation as drafted requires tighter safeguards to prevent undue erosion of constitutional rights. In its comments issued as the bill was being debated in the Senate, the association said it supported legislative initiatives aimed at strengthening public order and citizen security, but stressed that the proposed law must remain reasonably justified in a society that has a proper respect for the rights and freedom of the individual. They say our concern, therefore, is to ensure that this bill is reasonably justifiable, in a society that has a proper respect for the rights and freedom of the individual, as they said that. One of the association's central concern relates to the declaration zones of special operations. Clause 6 of the bill allows a zone to be declared where there are reasonable grounds to believe there is rampant criminality or a threat to the rule of law and public order. So what the association was saying is that the Prime Minister, the Cabinet, or the government should have come to the Law Association for some sort of legal advice. Because if you all don't remember what happened in 2011, where there were so many loopholes and so many illegalities in arrest that the government had to pay back millions of dollars in compensation due to the loopholes that was not looked through, discussed properly. And having Zoso, it is exactly what is going to happen. That is what is going to happen exactly. The courthouse is going to be so rammed out with cases. And the government will have to squeeze pocket because we don't have $1 to spare. That all you will be paying through all your teeth in legal compensation to the people of Trinidad and Tobago. So this is the Law Association saying this, right? So I want to go too in-depth in that because it's a whole long conversation. I want to go too in-depth in that. So then now they said how it's going to affect the businesses. Sorry, on the wrong one. How it is going to affect the businesses, right? Businesses will be affected. That I can tell you. But I'm just going to read this and I'm going to go into a video where our defense minister made a statement and caused a whole bacchanal on social media. Where you go see? They said the newly proposed, the new legislation, with the chamber heads warning that while the initiative may be improve security, it could also disrupt commercial activity if not carefully implemented. And I don't think these people think these things through, properly. But all of this is more than just securing the people of Trinidad and Tobago. This is beyond this. And all this is about power. Power and the people of Trinidad and Tobago with no rights. I sometimes just feel like if we're not apartheid, I just want them to be apartheid. Nah. The newly proposed zones, right? So the law reform, all right, I'll pass you that. So in response to the question, businesses, chamber leaders stress the need to strike a balance between enhanced security measures and economic realities. The Confederation of Regional Business Chambers, in a statement, told the media and said it recognizes that the concept of ZOSO appears to be rooted in the broader objective of improving public safety and community stability, but of which are fundamental to sustainable economic activity. From a business and investment perspective, investor confidence, particularly foreign directive investors, are closely linked to predictability, transparency, and the consistent application of rule of law. Any policy initiative, including ZOSO, will therefore need to be clearly defined, well communicated, and supported by strong institutional framework to ensure it enhances rather than inadvertently undermines confidence to the CRBC they stated. So that's just what's the business aspect. But I'm going, after this video, I'm going on what the people of the ground said. So we'll play this video, and when we come back, I think we'll go for a break, and then I will give you the comments of the people of Trinidad and Tobago. Stay. Let's go for a break while we sort out that video there. So when we come back, we will have some more videos to play for you and more to talk and discuss on on Zoso. Stay tuned.
You're viewing Real TV. Thanks for choosing us.
Macon Construction Company Limited. Save big whilst building stronger. We build with our Macon innovative building systems, which provides high wind speed, earthquake, sea blast and fire resistance. Is thermally and acoustically insulated. Provides improved construction timelines and cost savings. We provide construction services from design to finish and everything in between. Macon Construction Company Limited. Building green today with tomorrow's technology. Contact or visit us today.
Ready to take your sales career to the next level? If you have a passion for connecting with clients, building meaningful relationships, and delivering results, we want you on our team. Join a dynamic, motivated environment where your experience matters, your ideas are valued, and your drive defines your success. Step into a role with real opportunity. Join the sales team at Real TV, where your future begins.
Call us today at 292-6470 or WhatsApp us at 384-7142. You can also send an email to realtv.corporate@gmail.com.
Welcome to the Power Play, the most exciting period in sport. Join us every Friday from 7 to 8 p.m. as we bring to you all things sport. We break down football, cricket, basketball, all the latest sports in the Caribbean and of course across the world. Right here on Real TV, your station for local sport. Real to the heart, local to the core.
You're viewing Real TV, ultimate in programming. Thanks for choosing us.
Welcome back. So we are back on the topic today. And I was in a discussion about this last night, and I made sure I jot down some points with this discussion. And the discussion was, there is a potential for abuse of power under Zosos against citizens, primarily from poor neighborhoods. Because I am telling you this, most of the people that are going to be affected by this law are the poor people of Trinidad and Tobago. Right? But let me make something clear. The same poor people of Trinidad and Tobago, you hear the word poor. The same poor people of Trinidad and Tobago have no money to bring in drugs and guns. So if we're trying to curb crime, let me do it the right way. Because the same poor people from the neighborhood have no money to bring in drugs and guns. So if we're doing Zoso, let me do Zoso across the board. If you want to have a Zoso, have it across the board. What good for the goose must be good for the gander. So I'm going to play this video by the Minister of Defense, Minister Wayne Sturge.
So the zones would basically target small areas. And because it is targeted, the manpower needed, you don't need the entire army or the entire police service. You need a sufficient amount to establish a cordon. And a cordon would, in essence, prevent persons from leaving, and not persons who are everyday Johns, law-abiding citizens who work ordinary jobs. It is meant to prevent the criminal element from leaving. And that's one of the safeguards of the bill. I see a lot of misinformation being peddled on social media, scare tactics to make people feel that if you live in the zone, that somehow your rights are deprived of and unlimited. That's not the case, because the arrest, for instance, the arrest, it's not arbitrary. It's based on reasonable suspicion. And reasonable suspicion that you are engaged in gang activity, shootings, robberies, extortion, murders, things like that. So we are targeting a select few persons, and I can say from the outset, the persons we are targeting, we already have data on them.
So, they said in recent months, when we discussed, under an extended state of emergency, dozens of citizens have been held for months without charge or formal evidence. This is where the loophole going on happen, I'm telling you. If this is not reviewed properly, this is what's going to happen. In recent months, under an extended state of emergency, dozens of citizens have been held for months without charge or formal evidence. This is where, when people come out, the amount of suit the state going to get. Because if you lock me up for months without any evidence or without a charge, mess up my livelihood. Because it have some people who probably innocently got arrested and locked up under SE. Probably. I can't say, I'm not sure. I have no evidence of that. But it could be, because it happened already. Only to be released when the SOE expires on January 31st, 2026. So you know what's going to happen? The amount of lawyers going to make money and the amount of lawyers going to do work pro bono to sue the state. Because that is utter madness. It have a loophole. There is a loophole in this situation. Leaving families in limbo, dignity shattered and lives disrupted. These are not, this is with some families, because if I know you, if you're a criminal, you belong inside of it. I say what I say and I mean what I say. If you know you're a common criminal and you get locked up, I ain't mean studying your family in limbo. I ain't studying your family in limbo. Dignity shattered and lives disrupted. These are not abstract anxieties, but lived harms affecting men and women and children through loss of income, social stigma, trauma, and fractured trust in the justice system. People inside of their months, no charge, no evidence. Well, you know when I come out, I want to sit down as a millionaire, comfortable, because you have to compensate me. The next thing we discuss, critical weakness in the ZOSO bill. Officially titled the Law Reform Bill 2026, creates a framework for the executive to declare geographically defined zones where special powers apply in the name of crime prevention. So you understand what I say there, right? It creates a framework for executives to declare geographically defined zones where special powers apply in the name of crime prevention. So you know where they're going to talk about It's geographically. You know we're going to get hit hard geographically. I want to call the names of these areas because I don't want nobody to say I'm biased. And it have some areas that's in the white collar crime and it's proper highfalutin criminals. And they will be exempted. This is what's going to happen here, you know. They really say the poor man had to pay the price, you know. The poor man had to pay the price. This is how, this is a breakdown, you know, because I want you all to understand what can happen if this is not implemented correctly and who it is affecting. So they say there are several problematic features stand out. Broad executive discretion. The Prime Minister may designate a zone based on reasonable belief of rampant crime or threat to the public order. There is no independent trigger or judicial review before such a declaration. So at any time, the Prime Minister can wake up. So let me say we are Jordan River and the River Nile, and she get up one morning and say, you know what, I can't stand the River Nile. Zoso in the Puefu. Without any judicial review. This is to tell you how serious this thing is, you know. At any given time, she get up in the morning and feel to put Zoso in all the Puefu. She can do that without any, she don't have to go to nobody, without any judicial review. And now tell me if that is not abuse of power and our civil rights and our constitutional rights are being infringed and taken from us. I telling you, I feel like if an apartheid, this had to be apartheid. I don't have a problem if you are trying to fix crime in the country, because crime in the country getting worse and worse and worse every day. I don't have a problem. But when you take the rights of people and infringe the civil rights of people, then you will now realize that we are no longer a democratic country. Because once Zoso is in play, there's no democracy in Trinidad and Tobago for the next 5 years. Because see how long they want to extend it for. We will no longer be a democratic country in the next 5 years. Because we have no rights. And I want all you to understand what I say, you know. So we're moving along. Oh, let's go for a break. We're going for a break, and when we come back, we're going down because I want to give all you the nitty-gritty of everything. So stay tuned.
Ultimate in programming. Thanks for choosing us.
Every word, every line, every paragraph depicts a real moment in someone's life. A father, a sister, a mother, a brother. We at Newsday are dedicated to you, the people, and through independent, unwavering journalism, strive to always bring your stories to life. Because your stories are more than just words. Newsday, independent and credible.
Hi, I'm Zalisa Budusing Rupani, and I'm inviting you to join me for Conversations with Zalisa right here on Real TV. It's not just another talk show, it's a space for real stories, real insight, and real impact. We cover it all: health, law, parenting, relationships, drug and substance abuse, mental health, social issues, and so much more, with expert guests who help bring clarity to life's most important questions. So whether you're looking to be informed, empowered, or simply inspired, this show is for you. Weekdays at 10 a.m. with repeats on Real TV.
When security matters most, choose Catch Security Services Limited. We are proudly approved by the Ministry of Homeland Security. We protect your home, business, community, and much more. Our services include professional baton and armed officers, specialized K-9 units, mobile patrols, secure cash pickups, secure transport, and pepper spray applications and supply coming soon. Don't wait. Secure your assets now. Contact Catch Security today. Call 622-6601, email info@cssl-tt.com, or visit our office at 30-32 Saddle Road, Maraval.
You're viewing Real TV. Thanks for choosing us.
Right, so we're back. And we was talking about, we stopped at the broad executive discretion. And I ended off with, there's no independent trigger or judicial review before such declaration, placing enormous unchecked discretion in the executive branch. So it places enormous unchecked discretion. Guys, what I tell you, if it's the River Nile and the River Jordan, it's however the person, the executive, feels on that day can say and make a move without any judicial review. So we're going down. Expanded search and curfew powers. Security forces in a zone can conduct searches without warrants on suspicion and wrongdoing and impose curfews at 72 hours or cordons for 24 hours, while the bill mentions limitations. These measures reduce critical safeguards, protections against arbitrary searches, and loss of liberty that exit in normal criminal procedure. So we're saying these are the things that could happen. I'm not giving no definite saying that this minister tell me this. I am just telling you we were going through it, and we are saying these are the possibilities. And the possibilities looking very high. So curfews can happen for 72 hours or cordons for 24 hours, while the bill mentions limitations. So again, these are the loopholes of the ZOSO that things like these can happen. Risk of stigma and collective punishment. Communities placed under extended policing operations, even law-abiding residents, may suffer collective stigma. So let me just say, going by the law, going by the book, I'm not a person that break the law. And because of where I live, ZOSO is in place because of different, the small bad apples, the small bunch of apples, bad apples. And what is going to happen, they may suffer a collective stigma, loss of rights and movement, and economic disruption. So let me say, I'm minding my magical brown business. I am a law-abiding person. And because John and Peter down the road is little pests, and the executive, because I'm not calling the no name, I ain't calling no name thing again. The executive jumps up and say, ZOSO down by the River Jordan. Now my job, I am implicated because if there's ZOSO and they say curfew, between the hours of so and so, 72 hours lockdown, nobody can come out of the house. I can't go to work for 72 hours. So now my job on the line, my job is now on the line. My rights is lost. And now I have an economic disruption because I have no money coming in. And the way how things going now, in workplaces, you are easily replaced. A boss don't think twice and 3 times. You are easily replaced because the longer you take to do for productivity is the more money I am going to lose on a daily basis. So what I'm going to look at you as? A liability, not an asset. You are just a liability to me. Critics have noted that such laws can reinforce marginalization rather than protect residents. So you hear how it affects the communities and the law-abiding citizens in these communities. So we're going down. Insufficient time limits and oversight. While the bill caps an initial designation at 180 days, extensions are possible with minimum independent oversight on periodic judicial review. So you hear they say the initial designation at 180 days. We are hearing, it's alleged, 5 years. So 5 years, we have no rights. For 5 years, until the next election is called. And all of this, I am foreseeing because they know how the country is uneasy and people are antsy right now and people agitated and people vexed. That they are finding all different avenues to prevent you to act accordingly, defending your rights because of the state of the economy, the state of the country, so that is their only safeguard. Because you can't have an SOE for so long, so we have to find a next initiative. So now they come up with ZOSO. These are the things that they're doing, you know. Just for you, Trinidad and Tobago, just a group or individual or a set of people of the nation to stand up and protest. These are the things that they're doing. They're trying to find all different avenues. So now they come up with this initiative, and now it infringes on your rights even more and worse. We're going down the line. So, they said 180 days extensions are possible with minimal independent oversight or periodic judicial review. A setup that risks becoming a permanent semi-state of emergency in some areas. So they say the possibility can be a setup risk becoming a permanent semi-state emergency in some areas. So you mean to tell me some areas will be in a semi-state of emergency for 5 years? It is going to make matters worse in this country. Instead of we think things are going to get better, and I hope it get better, you know. I try to give all of the benefits of the doubt. But when you're seeing and you're reading and you're listening, and there's not much clarity in this bill, because I have not heard a definite and powerful definition and plan for this bill. And you cannot support something that where you have no clarity and you are not sure of your rights. You are not getting solidified information of your rights. So all of these things, I want you to put in perspective. Make knowledge of. Because if anything is to happen, somehow, some areas, me and all, my rights and all might get infringed. For all they know. Because right now, nobody ain't safe. Nobody ain't sure. And I want to make that very clear. And these are the things that I want you all to understand. This is pertinent information. Because let me tell you this. A lot of people going into these things and have no much knowledge of what is going on and what transpiring. So we're going down the line again. While the bill caps right, in essence, the bill hands powerful tools to police and defense forces, but lacks the robust checks a democratic society needs to ensure those tools are used fairly and proportionately. And I saw something the other day, and I was listening to something the other day, and I heard that it is alleged they wanted the military, the army, to do police work. Reality is, the army was not made and set up to be police officers. Let me get that right. They were not trained to become police officers. That is not their job spec. They are trained for combat and war. Not to stand up in Port of Spain or stand up in San Fernando to arrest a civilian. That is not their job. They did not sign up for that. If the country has to go into combat and they have to defend the country in terms of war, whatever, then they come into place. And we have to know the difference of the job specs in these law enforcements. We have to know the difference. And there's a video I want to play. A video I saw on TikTok, and a man was giving a total breakdown. His name. And he gave a total breakdown and letting people know the reality of what we are going to face. And if we could get that video. So, okay, so we are going for a break, and when we come back, we will play that video for you.
You're viewing Real TV. Thanks for choosing us.
Every word, every line, every paragraph depicts a real moment in someone's life. a father, a sister, a mother, a brother. We at Newsday are dedicated to you, the people, and through independent, unwavering journalism, strive to always bring your stories to life. Because your stories are more than just words. Newsday, independent and credible.
Hi, I'm Zalisa Budusing Rupani, and I'm inviting you to join me for Conversations with Zalisa right here on Real TV. It's not just another talk show, it's a space for real stories, real insight, and real impact. We cover it all: health, law, parenting, relationships, drug and substance abuse, mental health, social issues, and so much more, with expert guests who help bring clarity to life's most important questions. So whether you're looking to be informed, empowered, or simply inspired, this show is for you. Weekdays at 10 a.m. with repeats on Real TV.
Ready to take your sales career to the next level? If you have a passion for connecting with clients, building meaningful relationships, and delivering results, we want you on our team. Join a dynamic, motivated environment where your experience matters, your ideas are valued, and your drive defines your success. Step into a role with real opportunity. Join the sales team at Real TV, where your future begins.
Call us today at 292-6470 or WhatsApp us at 384-7142. You can also send an email to realtv.corporate@gmail.com.
You're viewing Real TV, ultimate in programming. Thanks for choosing us.
All right, so welcome back. And I said we have a video, and there's a video as well. I saw a TikToker. I recently got familiar with him, and I stumbled upon a video that he was addressing the same situation, and I want you all to take a look at this video for me.
Yesterday, a bill was passed in the lower house called the Zone of Special Operations Bill. This was passed 27 in favor of the government and 11 opposition MPs voted against. Now, what this bill voted to do was actually put a lot of power in the hands of the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago. It proposes to give her the power to declare zones of special operation in Trinidad and Tobago. Keep in mind that all of these zones that they have proposed fall into the areas of opposition MPs. The powers that come with this bill is almost unlimited. It gives the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago the authority to declare any area in Trinidad and Tobago a zone of special operation. So what exactly is this power, and why is it so important that no one person has this level of autonomy? If an area is declared an area of special interest, the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago reserves the right to lock down the entire area with a curfew for up to 72 hours. In addition to that, officers now have the ability to come in your house without a search warrant. On top of that, any obstruction of officers by civilians carry a $50,000 TT fine. And we all know how subjective that could be with police officers. Now, one could say they probably have body cams, but you'll be surprised to see how many body cams the batteries die suddenly. And what's even more alarming is that the zone of special operations actually goes outside of the zone of special operations. If a person belongs to an area that is declared a zone of special operation, they could actually be hunted down outside of that zone in any other area in Trinidad and Tobago. It means that the entire Trinidad and Tobago has just become a zone of special operation. Now, it's certain that some supporters of this current government administration will say, well, that's a really good thing, and they highly support it, because a lot of the crime hotspots are located along the east-west corridor. But here's the thing. Today, you're the hunter. Tomorrow, you could be the hunted. Keep in mind that governments change every 5 years. And anybody that comes into the Prime Minister office has the ability to declare your area a hotspot area. And here's another thing. If you think the crime is concentrated in particular areas along the east-west corridor, when these areas are declared zones of special operations, where do you think the crime is going to happen? A lot of it is going to trickle to the areas that don't have zones of special operations. In other words, you might be diluting the crime situation in Trinidad and Tobago. Imagine you being in a zone that you think is a zone of safety, and tomorrow is declared a zone of special operation. And at 3 a.m., police come banging on your door, break down the door, enter the house. Your kids, your wife, your husband, your parents, your grandparents, everybody's traumatized. They find nothing and they leave. And this scars them and you for life. This is the reality of what we are facing with this bill. Another important point to note about this bill is that when it was first introduced in Jamaica in 2017, the results were mixed. And depending on who you ask, they will tell you it was either a success or a complete failure. One of the reasons that we can't blindly adopt that bill from Jamaica into Trinidad and Tobago is because Jamaica is predominantly Afro-Jamaicans. In Trinidad and Tobago, we have almost 40% Indo-Trinidadians and 40% Afro-Trinidadians. And the zones of special operations borderline this bill becoming something of a racial disposition. This bill is soon going to go to the Senate, and the government has 16 senators. And it requires 19 to pass this bill. It means that 3 independent persons are going to have to support this bill. I urge the independent senators to take this into consideration. If this bill is allowed to pass at the Senate level, it's going to become a political tool for witch hunting people and groups or organizations. What is different from a political dictator and the power that one holds after this bill is passed? Today, you're the hunter. Tomorrow, you're the hunted. Let me know you guys see in the comments down below.
So that was a little breakdown that he gave to you all. And when I heard it, I said, wow, you're on the same road that I am, that we were discussing. So, which is, and here there's a $50,000 fine if you were found obstructing and resisting. $50,000. So you know, money had to make a back pay had to pay. So real people go and get arrested for obstruction. Take what I'm telling you. $50 like rain, $50,000 like rain going and pay for obstruction. Right? So, we're going down now. What is the better? But before I go down to what is the better approaches that we could adopt? Because we're not only focusing on the negative, we're focusing on the positive as well. What other approaches that we TNT can adopt to make this, if you want to do the bill, to make it a better bill, so that it will not infringe the rights of people of Trinidad and Tobago. But there's I don't know if we got that video from the MP where he spoke in Parliament. I don't know if we have that video. So, instead of broad intrusive powers, global best practices point to alternatives that balance security with the human rights. Targeted intelligence-led policing with oversight. Countries like the Netherlands and parts of Scandinavia invest in community policing with stringent judicial oversight and clear legal limits on stop-search powers. These models focus on data-driven crime suppression and confidence building, not blanket special zones. So you see, when doing certain laws like these, what is good to do is do some research on other countries that did it and how successful it was without infringing the rights of people, and compare it, because remember, every country has a different culture. But we have a video, and before I go to the other point, we have a video where the MP addressed a statement in Parliament. I think it was this week. Take a look.
This bill that we have before us today is going to infringe on the rights of many people in society. But unfortunately, it is going to be people in society, in neighborhoods, that may have very little say. And that is why it is incumbent upon us to advocate for them and to ensure that their rights are protected and to ask the question, why? Why is this piece of legislation necessary? Why is it necessary for a Prime Minister to declare any area in Trinidad and Tobago a zone, and a zone where police officers and defense force officers decide of their own volition where to cordon off, where to have curfews, and in those areas suspend our constitutional rights in that they can search us, they can search our property, our vehicles, etc., without warrant.
So, the next point is, strengthen the justice system capacity. Oh, gosh, all you. When I tell all you our judicial system, horrible in a mess. And the only way we can fix this, because here what's going to happen, even if you have Zoso and you arrest these criminals, you know what is going to happen? They are going to come back out freely, walk in the streets of Trinidad and Tobago. Because our judicial system is so poor, so backed up, so corrupted, that these criminals are set free because of lack of evidence, the misplaced evidence, police ain't coming out, prosecutor not there. Who pay the judge? Who pay the magistrate? Because I'm telling you, our judicial system is very corrupted. And in order for you to have Zoso, you have to clean from the top down to the bottom. Don't go from the bottom, don't go back to front. Don't go from the bottom to the top. That's not making no sense. If you want to have a successful Zoso, you have to start from the head. You can't start from the bottom of the pyramid and start from the bottom and go up to the top. That's not making no sense. It makes no sense. Because here what we will be doing, we will be just spinning it up in mud. So you know what we might have to do as Zoso for the rest of our life? Because if we clean up our act from the top and come down the line in steps and cleaning up our country, nobody say crime will never stop, but you can curb crime. Crime is something that we can curb, but the only way it cannot be curbed because of how corrupted our country is. We are full of corruption. For a small island of Trinidad and Tobago, we are very high in the corruption rate. If you Google most corrupted countries, Trinidad is very high up. Surpass countries that we can fit in 30 million times. So we have to strengthen our justice system capacity, reducing backlogs, improving evidence collection, and bolstering prosecution capacity ensures the suspected offenders are charged swiftly, fairly, and transparently, tackling the cycle of crime more effectively than emergency powers. Community-centered interventions. Crime flourishes where social inequality, poverty, and lack of opportunity persist. Social investments in education, employment, youth programs, and this is something I always pong on a daily basis. Because a lot of areas are neglected. And I am telling you, especially in rural areas. Especially in rural areas where these youngsters are now resorting to criminal activities. Because of the neglect. So we're going down. Social investment has reduced crime in cities like Glasgow in the UK. Medellin in Colombia. Medellin was known as a #1 crime area city. Don't walk in Medellin with a Piper Clarks because they're thieving that and all. Medellin is one place in Colombia. If you walk with a Piper Clarks, they're thieving that. The bad, that was bad like yard. So when they started implementing these things in these cities in Colombia, where focus of social development strategies accompanied policing reforms. All these are positive insights. Independent oversight bodies ensuring police and defense actions are reviewed by independent civil authorities, not just internal command, enhances accountability and public trust. So I'm saying this again, ensuring police and defense actions are reviewed by independent civil authorities. Because there are too many times people in our protective service, some, not all, do a lot of under the table nonsense. Bobble, corrupted. A lot of them. Let me not say a lot, some. Because they have a few good ones. There are few good ones that are loyal to their country and not loyal to the dollar. I know a lot of loyal police officers. So if we have some independent civil authorities come and review the workings of these officers and our military by extension, where we could nip certain corruption behaviors in the bud early, you will see a difference. You will see a difference. It enhances accountability and public trust. Then now the people of Trinidad and Tobago can trust to speak, go to the men that serve us as police officers in our country. So we're going for a break, and when we come back, I'll conclude on this part of, positive approaches to this bill.
You're viewing Real TV. Thanks for choosing us.
Every word, every line, every paragraph depicts a real moment in someone's life. A father, a sister, a mother, a brother. We at Newsday are dedicated to you, the people, and through independent, unwavering journalism, strive to always bring your stories to life. Because your stories are more than just words. Newsday, independent and credible.
Hi, I'm Zalisa Budu Singh Rupani, and I'm inviting you to join me for Conversations with Zalisa right here on Real TV. It's not just another talk show, it's a space for real stories, real insight, and real impact. We cover it all: health, law, parenting, relationships, drug and substance abuse, mental health, social issues, and so much more, with expert guests who help bring clarity to life's most important questions. So whether you're looking to be informed, empowered, or simply inspired, this show is for you. Weekdays at 10 a.m. with repeats on Real TV.
Ready to take your sales career to the next level? If you have a passion for connecting with clients, building meaningful relationships, and delivering results, we want you on our team. Join a dynamic, motivated environment where your experience matters, your ideas are valued, and your drive defines your success. Step into a role with real opportunity. Join the sales team at Real TV, where your future begins.
Call us today at 292-6470 or WhatsApp us at 384-7142. You can also send an email to realtv.corporate@gmail.com.
You're viewing Real TV, ultimate in programming. Thanks for choosing us.
Welcome back. So what I want you all to know, security is a legitimate goal, but it cannot be pursued by giving the state license to operate outside the safeguards that define democratic societies. We need our police officers to secure us. We need our military to secure us, yes. But acting outside, given without a license, pursued given the state license to operate outside the safeguards that define democratic societies. Let me tell you something, Trinidad and Tobago. Before I go to that, I had one more comment. So communities will be subjected to years of curfew for ineffective policing and poor governance. How long will it take to find the people who are all known to the police to be brought to justice and convicted? 5 years? The person started to laugh. So curtail our constitutional rights and movements. This had to be delusional. Just one question. Has anybody detained during the SOE been charged? You know this is, when I was going through the comments, this was the question that a lot of people was asking, and no, I am telling you, our ministers cannot answer that question up to now. That question was asked by a media personnel some months ago. Has anybody been charged since the SOE? And you know the only thing they like to do is walk away from the question, because these are the burning questions that people ask on social media. These are the burning questions that people ask when the news people go live. Anybody get charged yet for the SOE? So you have a SOE because nobody know the real reason. I tell only that lock up was just for people to get locked up sake, you know. I ain't going down that road. It's for only not to go out there to protest. Only not supposed to go out there to protest. So they go get all the SOE in all the preference. Get all the Zosos in all the preference until their term is up. Just want to ask the question. Is it a lack of evidence? Intelligence without evidence is worthless. You have not given an ounce of credibility or justification for the need of these Zoso. 5 years is a full term for the present administration. I ain't calling the party name. So we can't expect our constitutional rights be infringed or to be curtailed for the duration of the administration tenure. Nonsense and totally unacceptable. This was a comment I saw. And the reason being, I like to read these comments because the opinion of NACA is not the opinion of what the station say. Yes, that's my personal opinion. And I like to listen to the people. It could be negative, it could be positive. It could be for, it could be against. Because it lets me know how you think. It allows me to create my show for you guys. Because sometimes I will be very straightforward. If I know something wrong, and I know something wrong for my country, I will stand up and say something wrong for my country. If I know I'm not sure and I can stand corrected, I will still look for the pros and cons to the issue. Hence the reason why, because I am very hurt of my state, of my country, I was even looking for things that more positive approaches that we can access instead of the possibilities of we being in a place of apartheid. Because that is a road we head in. If we heading for inflation, we might head down the road to a recession. Then we might head down the road to the IMF. Now we heading down the road to your rights are being infringed, where the country could end up in unrest, where God forbid we could end up in a coup. God forbid, and I pray it never happen. Where there is no judicial review, where an executive can get up at any day given time and make a decision without the voice of the people of Trinidad and Tobago and without the voice of justice. This is a wake-up call, you know. Because let's see all kind of thing going on, helter-skelter in all areas. And what you all don't realize, in all areas that it is affected, it all boils down that is coming to affect you. Trinidad and Tobago. It's affecting me. Naka. And this is something that we take like a joke because everything Trinidad like to do, and I wouldn't be too surprised because there's a curfew party, we might end up with a Zoso party, a Zoso effect, because we don't take things seriously. And we don't know the kind of road we're heading down to. And you know when we wake up, it's when we bounce we head. And we realize it's too late. We will realize that it is too late. Too late shall be our portion if we do not start to get serious as a nation. Because I gave you all a breakdown on exactly what could happen and what we can do to refrain the possibilities of the negativities from happening. Because a lot of people here, when I read the comments was over 800 and something comments. And all were asking, what is going to happen to our constitutional rights? Because too many times, statements are being made by officials and they go right back on their word. Because what is given is comfort to a fool. And whoever is the fool wants to eat up that damn business. I'd rather starve. I'd rather stay hungry. Because me ain't no fool. Me ain't Bobo the fool. I mightn't have all the knowledge in the world. But one thing I do, anything that affects us, I research, I find the pros and cons, and I bring it to the table. And you all can interact, and you all can say how you all feel. If what you agree with me, say, Nak, I don't agree with what you're saying. You're talking nonsense. And I will ask you, tell me, what have I said wrong and correct me? Let me hear your opinion. Because your opinion is vital to me. Your opinion is worth it to me. That's hence the reason why we are bridging the gap. And let me tell you something as we end. We have to stand up. This is our country. This country belongs to us. Mother Earth belongs to us. This country, Trinidad and Tobago. So I gave you all the pros and cons, and you all can internalize on it. Internalize in vital information. I care for you guys. I want you all to be safe. Have a blessed Thursday. Be safe. You know, we're in the carnival season. Those who are going in the savannah to TTV and party, because I know it's big fete in the savannah today. Unfortunately, I'll have to miss it due to I have to have my ducks in a row. Mind my business. Right? So I want you all to be safe on the nation's road. Just know love each other, build on each other. Let me tell you something, unity is important. Unity, love for each other is important. Respect is important. Understanding each other is important. Right? So, that's the end of our show today. You all have a blessed Thursday afternoon. See you tomorrow, same place, same time. Toodles.
What's your opinion on the gas prices hiking by 70% natural gas? Alright, first of all, we are yes. That's it. Alright. With first station by the name of Real TV. asking one question today. How do you feel about the recent hike in gas prices by 70% natural gas?
No response to give, I'm sure. Well, what I could say for sure is that no price increase is welcome. Even though there may be valid reasons for it. I am saying that, usually it is met with a bit of apprehension or maybe vexation. Yeah, but I understand, things are on the increase locally and globally too. I understand that. So with that being said, I kind of in between.
In between?
That's nice of you.
That's it. That's it, right?
Yeah, man. Yeah, sure. No problem.
All right. Yeah. Good. I work for a station by the name of Real TV. Here to ask a question. How do you feel about the recent hike in natural gas prices?